My wife's affair is over, but now I am already out of marriage. Seeking advice and divorce is not an option. I, 34M, am married to my wife, 33F, for 10 years. We have 2 children, 8M, 5F, together. We were happy, loving and caring family. Communication and understanding between me and my wife was best. Our sex life was healthy. About a year and a half ago, I was promoted at my workplace, so I had to work longer hours. I was not able to spend enough time with my wife. As a result, there were increased fights between us, but never too big. A year ago, I discovered that my wife was having an affair with a coworker. I thought that I would work on our marriage and do things which I did to win her back. I started date nights, leaving her love poems and surprising her with gifts. I continued this for 3 to 4 months. She never cared about me. She would always come late from work saying workload is too much on her, but she didn't know I knew about the coworker. Every night a part of me was being killed by her. Every time we slept in bed I would imagine another man on top of her. She was acting normal, but we had not had sex for about 6 months except on several occasions where she initiated it. My last straw was when she refused to go out on family trip I planned with our kids to Europe. She said that she had business trip which is very important to her. Deep down my soul was crushed. I knew that this was the trip with her coworker, but I acted normally in front of our kids. I wanted to give divorce, but I have seen children become miserable in divorced home. My children are my first priority, so I would not do anything that was not beneficiary for my children. So I decided that I would act normal in home but would live single life outside of home. I didn't know how I would start an affair as we had been married for almost 10 years. So I thought by sleeping with another woman, it would help in approaching another woman. For about next 4 to 5 months, I slept with several escorts multiple times and had become FWBS with 4 to 5 women. All this time she had her affair going on. I didn't give a crap for it, as now I had no emotions left for her. But we both acted normal in our home. Whenever I have to meet other women I would make excuse of extra hours of work at my job. For 2 to 3 weeks, she has been acting differently. She has been trying to cuddle up to me, being PDA, initiating sex, which I turned down every time by making excuse of being tired due to extra hours of jobs, and leaving love messages. I had a feeling that her affair was over, so I did some digging in her phone. I found that she ended things with the coworker because she felt guilty whenever she was with me. She cut off contact with him and left the job. Yesterday, she brought the idea that she was thinking of wedding vow renewal ceremony. I didn't said much, but now I am in a mess. I don't love her anymore but want to stay together for kids. I want to live the way I am living right now. Should I tell her the truth or should I just live the double life? This reminds me of a tweet I saw recently. Children of divorce are so dramatic, try being children of please get a divorce already. As a child of parents who definitely should have divorced, I can say that staying together, for the kids, alone isn't worth it. Kids can sense the toxicity, even if you think they can't. Better to be separate and happy than together and miserable. I don't know who's more stupid, you or your wife, or both. I think divorce is the best option. Tell your wife that you know about her affair and confess your own. If possible, start with a clean slate or get a divorce. Just end this marriage. Nothing will be the same again. 2 stable co-parents better than unhealthy house for your kids to grow up. She is not the same wife you loved and married long back ago, and you can't live the rest of your life doing what you are doing now. Start a new life with someone who will love and respect you. Be the best version of yourself for your kids. You are a role model to your children, yes. So when they grown up and settle for staying in a miserable, dysfunctional relationship, what will you say to them? Well done. Because they are only following the example you are setting. I'm setting a far better example to my children of what a healthy relationship looks like and what having respect for yourself looks like. Now I am divorced. Divorce is the best option for the kids. Do you have any idea the damage your forced fake relationship will do to them? Please just do the right thing for your children and for yourself. What a clusterfuck of a marriage. Just divorce, man. Protect your kids, co-parent, and begin living a better life without her. You and your wife are disgusting. Get a divorce. Grow a spine and balls and end this crap. Kids are fine in 2 happy homes instead of 1 fake one. What sort of spineless man would live with a wife knowing full well she was cheating? Shit. Then you do it back. In insisting to stay in a loveless marriage, you're teaching your kids not to expect a loving marriage for themselves. That's just wrong. I think you should just be honest with her. That you found out she was having an affair so you had one too. You could potentially agree to an open relationship or similar. Honesty throughout all of this would have made you both happier, so why are you considering repeating the circle of lies? Dude. No. Fuck staying together for the kids. My parents did, and I was way more messed up growing up than I would be if they were divorced. Fuck whoever thought staying together for the kids is a good idea. How do you expect your kids to develop their understanding about relationship in a home with parents who don't love each other? You think kids won't understand what's going on? Well, they will. I'm telling you this from a place of experience. If the only reason for staying in this marriage are your kids, leave. You're not doing your kids any favor by keeping together in one household with a wife who you show no affection for. You are not setting a good example for what a loving relationship should be. I know that you don't want to hear that divorce is the answer, but I think it's the only way you and your family can move on and experience healthy and loving relationships. But want to stay together for kids. They don't care, and you are hurting them by doing this. If you want to do it, don't use kids as an excuse, because if they were the priority you wouldn't show them this mess. I know you said that divorce is not an option, but I don't think that it's healthy for both of you or your family. Now, because you said that divorce is not an option, I think you should both be honest with each other. You need a lot of explanation of why she's cheating, and you need to tell her about you also sleeping with other women too. Never stay for the kids, you will just make them miserable. 2 happy homes are better than 1 unhappy one. For the sake of your kids, I highly suggest you and your wife go to couples therapy, and you might need individual therapy too. This relationship has gone bad on so many levels. Even if you and your wife decide to stop a romantic relationship and simply co-parent, everything needs to be out in the open and dealt with for the sake of any form of a relationship in the future. I would suggest having your dad sleep around with escorts isn't the best for the kids. Bro, I have no idea if this links up, but I thought it's worth mentioning. I think your wife literally made a post about this already. I could be wrong. The coincidence is just too much, but I do remember reading a post a few months ago on Reddit. The woman said she was having a 6-month affair and then discovered a diary from her husband where he wrote out all his pain and all his efforts to win her back for 6 months, until he eventually gave up and started seeking sex from escorts, and that she felt bad and wanted advice on how to fix things. Again, I don't know if it is your wife, but it may be worth checking the post out. On another note, this relationship is definitely dead. Start preparing your exit. You're right, op. Divorce isn't an option. It's the only option. If you keep on like this, you'll fuck your kids up for good. This can't be true, come on. Divorce her. But here's the thing, before you do, get your finances and living situation in order. Meaning contact as many divorce lawyers as possible. Then find some money and save it somewhere the courts and she can't find it. Copy all the evidence of her infidelity. Make sure to serve her when she least expects it. There is absolutely no saving this. Time to bite the bullet and get a divorce. Also, stop your affairs. That could be utilized by her to attack your character both during the divorce and by family friends. Maybe I'm missing something, but it sounds like the too long did not read. You two have never communicated directly about her cheating, and your solution was to get your own side pieces. I mourn for your children. What shit role models they have. This is fake. There's no way you kept the secret of your wife having an affair and just went on about your life for 6 months before having your own affairs. Not plausible at all. Why is divorce not an option? Do you think you're doing your children any favors by staying in an obviously miserable marriage? Do you think you're doing the right thing by them showing them how badly spouses can treat each other with zero repercussions? Do you want your children growing up to think this is normal for a marriage? Divorce is your best option. You think it's helping the kids. You're doing the exact opposite. You're showing them an inherent marriage where 2 people who don't love each other anymore is okay when it's not. Listen, I come from a divorced home myself. My parents were both so much happier apart than they were putting on an act for my brothers and I. Listen. You're not helping anyone by staying together. Now you're both living a lie. So start by telling the truth. You have no leg to stand on here. You've cheated as much as she has and more, with probably even riskier behaviors. So sit her down, tell her that you know about her affair and you've had affairs of your own as a result. That this marriage is dead. Your only options now are to have a fully open marriage and keep doing what you both are doing, but doing it honestly, or just divorce. At this point, I'm recommending divorce. I definitely understand your response. I think I'd likely do something similar if I believed staying together was the most important. I'm however of the opinion it is better to divorce than pretend it's all fine. Well, you say divorce is not an option, there's nothing to do. Keep doing what you're doing, pretend to have a happy family. Just need to tell you that you're making yourself, her and your kids miserable. Do not stay together for the kids. My parents tried to do that for years, and they were miserable. Your kids may be upset by the divorce, but in the long run everyone will be much happier. Don't live in a lie because you think it'll make your kids happier. They will eventually realize what's happening, and they will resent you for it. If you don't love her, divorce her. Staying for the kids sometimes turns out to be the worst path to take. Just tell her you're done with her and be there for the children. I honestly would openly tell her that you know about her affair and you tried everything and so you moved on to your new life and have only been here for the kids' sake, but that you no longer love her and see no hope for a future and that it is time to split up and move forward with your lives. Your kids can feel and see the indifference and every action you do or do not do will reflect in their future relationships. Would you advise your child to stay together for the kids? I do not think you would because I know how miserable you are. Time to move on with a better future for you all. You say that your children are your top priority and that divorce is not an option. False. You can't have two top priorities. Your top priority is either your children or your sham marriage, not both. This dysfunctional marriage is causing harm to your kids, so your top priority is the sham marriage. Your kids come second at most. They can see the behaviors that you're modeling for them and they pick up on the fact that mommy and daddy hate each other. Kids aren't stupid. I'd suggest telling the truth. Better than living a fake life forever. You only get one. My parents should have divorced when I was your children's age. My mother even admitted she would have divorced him if not for me, so I was to blame for them being miserable together. He was full of resentment and took it out on her. She never stood up to the bullying. It took a lot of therapy to get over my childhood. Even now I struggle with conflict resolution. If you think divorce is damaging to the kids, I wish I grew up in a family that had divorced instead of the shit I had to put up with. My dad stayed with my mom longer, for the kids, and the hostility made it miserable. Just do your kids a favor and divorce. They can pick up on your off vibes even if you don't realize it yet. My parents got divorced when I was 12 and my sister was 9. My father had an affair, the woman in question is now his wife, and my mother and him tried to save the marriage for the sake of me and my sister. It did absolutely not work out and they got a divorce. 11 years later and I am so happy that they divorced back then, because my sister and I could feel that something was wrong, even though they didn't tell us at first that my dad had an affair. This is just my view of things. A divorce is not always bad for children, we notice more things than parents even know. I don't know if this helps you, but I can assure you that a divorce is not always hell for children. Sorry if there are spelling or grammar mistakes, English is not my first language. Don't stay for the kids, bro. That's a really unhealthy and it's worse for them than divorce. Kids are worse in unhappy homes than two separate homes. Source. Child of shitty unhappy parents that stayed together thinking that was the best decision for me. I promise if you divorce your wife not only will your kids still grow up happy, they'll not have a misconstrued perception of love and marriage. If it were me, I would look at my options to protect myself and my children. If she finds out, even though she had the affair, she may take you to the cleaners with divorce court. You've heard the horror stories. Lies always come out, man. Always, people find out. If it were me, I'd ask her, look, you had this affair, you clearly didn't love me. Even though the affair is over, she will most likely revisit the affair or another. So ask her, how should we proceed forward? Sometimes people will come to a peaceful and fair conclusion and you could have a good divorce and split so you guys can be happy. And #X200B. Or go see a therapist if that's your thing. What's wrong with you? Leave, damn it. Her, hi honey, what do you think about a vow renewal ceremony? You, I was thinking more in the line of a marriage cancellation ceremony. How has less than name of coworker been doing? Get a divorce. Tell her you know about the affair and want out. Get all your stuff in order so you don't get screwed. Honestly, just get a divorce. Kids are not as stupid as you think they are. They won't notice things, and even if they don't know what it means, they will know that things are changing around them. And the only reason most divorced kids end up bad is because parents don't understand the fact that you have to make sure that the children understand that this has nothing to do with them and that you continue to be their father. You're not happy, she's not necessarily happy, just get a divorce, man. Yesterday, she brought the idea that she was thinking of wedding vow renewal ceremony. LMAO. Why are you still in this relationship again? You can't pretend to care about your kids if you're going to raise them with parents like you too. They will model their future relationships on how you treat each other. My parents got divorced and I'm mostly fine. I can't imagine how fucked I'd be if they were together the whole time. You fear what's unknown, but if you step back and think objectively, you'll see that the status quo is much scarier. Confront your damned wife. Somebody send this over to our purple pill debate. Tell her the truth. Tell her you stopped giving a shit about her when she was fucking a coworker, so you started doing your own thing. Tell her to go on Tinder and find an FWB and raise your kids as covalent roommates until they grow up, then divorce her. Just remember to tell her it's all her fault and she started it.